Hoy vamos a aprender acerca del presente subjuntivo. All of the tenses that we've learned are called indicative. So we've learned the present tense, present progressive, the preterite, the imperfect. All of those are indicative. What does it mean, indicative? Tenses that are used to express facts, real and definite. The subjunctive is used to express how somebody feels toward an event, and it's also used to express actions that the speaker considers to be doubtful, uncertain, or hypothetical. And this is all going to become more clear as I go on to explain, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that there is a difference between the indicative tenses and the subjunctive tenses. I'll give you an example. So in this picture, the sentence that I have next to it says, El cuarto de Vicente está desordenado. That's a fact, right? If we look at that room, it's really messy. Now, I could have an attitude toward that room, or maybe Vicente's mother could feel a certain way toward the fact that his room is messy. And so she could express something that she wants to happen. It hasn't happened yet, but she wants for that to happen. La mamá de Vicente quiere que limpie su cuarto. That que limpie, that's a subjunctive tense. Let me give you another example. Es importante que arregles tu cuarto. So she's speaking to him. Es importante. So that's how she feels toward that room being messy. And that's what she's saying, es importante. Que arregles, that's the subjunctive part. So let's now see how do we conjugate the present subjunctive. So something that we can take as a referent is the usted and ustedes command that we just learned. And they're also similar to the negative two commands in that what you need to do first is to take the infinitive, or take hablar, for instance, and then conjugate it into the present for yo. Por ejemplo, hablar, yo hablo, o comer, yo como, escribir, yo escribo. That's the present. From then, what we're going to do is we're going to take out that o from the verb that we just conjugated, and then we're going to add the present subjunctive ending. So for hablar, there are going to be endings that are similar to e. For example, hable. I'm going to show you the rest of them in a minute. For comer and escribir, because they end in er and ir, the present subjunctive endings are going to start with a. Like this. For hablar, all of the endings are e. For example, que yo hable, que tú hables, que él hable, que nosotros hablemos, vosotros habléis y ellos hablen. For er and ir, for example, comer, coma, comas, coma, comamos, comáis, coman. Ir, also escribir, for example. Escriba, escribas, escriba, escribamos, escribáis, y escriban. And here they are, the ones that I just told you, but just written out. As you can tell, AR, all of the endings for AR end in E. E, es, E, hemos, en. Whereas for ER and IR, all of those endings have to do with A. A, as, a, amos, an. Now what happens with the irregulars? Well, we have some verbs that have irregular yo forms. For example, conducir. It's not yo conduzo, it's yo conduzco. It's not yo deco, it's yo digo. It's not yo hago, it's yo hago, and so on. For those, still, they're going to maintain their irregularity. So that's why it's key that you conjugate them for yo, because then you're going to have that stem already changed. And then just add the present subjunctive endings. All of these are on page 423 for your reference. Now, we also have some that have an irregularity or have a spell change, and those are the ones that end in car, like sacar, gar, like cargar, y zar, like empezar. They're still going to have a spelling change in the present subjunctive. For example, for sacar, that C changes to QU. Why, you may ask? The reason why we have that QE is so that they continue to have that K sound. Because otherwise, if we kept that C, think about sake, for example. If we kept that C, it would be sase, and the infinitive is sacar. So we need to maintain that K. That's why we changed it to QE. An example with gar, jugar, juegue, juegues. In this one, we're maintaining the G, the hard G. Because if we didn't have that GU, it would sound jueje. And then lastly, we have that almorzar that ends in zar. And of course, that's not the only one. You have empezar and other verbs like that end in zar. We change the spelling from Z to C. Now, what happens with stem changing? Well, if you have verbs that are stem changing, those are still going to be stem changing in the subjunctive. So, for instance, we have an example of pensar, mostrar, entender, volver. All of those, their stem changes. Pensar, that stem changes from E to IE, from pen to pien. Mostrar, from mos to mues. Now, what happens with the IR stem changing? Well, they still change. However, in addition, the nosotros also changes, because normally with stem changing verbs, the nosotros won't change. But in the present subjunctive, if you have an IR action verb, that one will need to change as well in nosotros. As you can see with pedir, in the present tense it will be yo pido, tú pides, él pide, nosotros pedimos. In the present tense, pedimos in nosotros does not change. But in the subjunctive, it does change. Pidamos, and so on. Now, these 5 we need to learn because they are irregular, meaning they don't follow rules. And so we just need to learn these. They are on page 424. Y son dar, estar, ir, saber, y ser. Just make sure that you make a note that the present subjunctive of ir has a Y and it doesn't have 2 double L's. I've seen this one as a common error, so I wanted to point out. Vaya with a Y. Now, here's another one that I wanted to point out. The indicative of haber, meaning there is or there are, is I. Well, what about the subjunctive? The subjunctive is haya. Sometimes you might feel tempted to write a double L because that double L sounds like the Y, right? However, I just wanted to make sure that you knew that this one is with a Y. Haya. Now, what do we use it for? At the beginning, I mentioned that it's used to express attitudes. More specifically, the subjunctive is used to express will and influence, emotion, doubt, disbelief, denial, and indefiniteness and non-existence. An example of will and influence would be, quiero que limpies tu cuarto. Que limpies, that's the subjunctive part. Quiero que, that's my will, That's what I want to happen. Emotion. Me molesta que no limpies tu cuarto. It bothers me that you don't clean your room. It bothers me, that's the emotion. Que no limpies, that's the subjunctive. Doubt, disbelief and denial would be something like dudo que vengas a la fiesta. And then finally, indefiniteness and non-existence would be something like quiero encontrar un restaurante que venda comida de Tibet. Indefiniteness, because I'm not sure if a restaurant like that exists in San Antonio. So therefore, I'm going to use the subjunctive. The present subjunctive, the way that you're going to know that you need it is, of course, if you have one of those four situations, but you'll be able to recognize it because it has two parts in the sentence. It has a main clause. Both parts are connected by que. There's also other connectors, but for the purposes of this example, let's say that que is the connector. And then it has another part that is called the subordinate clause that is after the connector. Okay, so you have two parts that are united by a connector. The first part is the main part of the sentence. And the last part, we call it subordinate because by itself, it's not a complete sentence. It actually depends on the first one. That's why it's subordinate. Then we also have some expressions that are impersonal that are always going to be followed by clauses in the subjunctive tense. For example, es bueno que. Es bueno que comas tus vegetales. That comas, that's subjunctive. Es importante que hagas tu tarea. Hagas, subjunctive. Es mejor que estudies. Estudies, subjunctive. Es necesario que despiertes temprano. Despiertes, subjunctive. Es malo que juegues muchos videojuegos los lunes. Juegues, subjunctive. Es urgente que tomes tus vitaminas. That tomes, subjunctive. Now, you guys go ahead and try this one. So you can go ahead and pause and fill it out and then come back and I'll give you the answers. Here you go. You can check and see if you got them all correct. Make sure that you notice that if they are stem changing, you need to change the stem. Some of them were also irregular. Now let's go to activity 1 on page 425. Here you need to complete the blanks with the present subjunctive, and then you need to match the sentences in the first group to the second group. So go ahead and complete this activity, and then I'll give you the answers in a minute. Here you go. You can check and see if you got it right. Again, some of these are irregular, so make sure that you got those correct as well. Next couple of lessons, we're going to continue to talk about the subjunctive. It's an important tense, and sometimes it's not very intuitive because in English we use the infinitive for that. So for example, if I wanted to say, I want you to clean your room, I would use the infinitive. I want you to clean. This lesson is important because of that. Because it's different, and also because we're going to continue to see it in the next couple of lessons. It's a foundational lesson, and so I'm going to ask that you dedicate time to make sure that you review the rules and you get really familiar with how it works, because it's going to keep coming up. All right, that's it for this recorded lecture, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.